Welcome, everybody, to the Week 2 Fantasy Football and DFS Outlook. It's great to be back in Week 2, and football is massively upon us. And just want to give a shout out to Tua Tagovailoa. I'm sorry if I jinxed you. I'm literally sorry. If you're out there watching Tua, I'm sorry. I said that you got concussed and had great games on Thursday nights, and it happened. I am totally sorry. I feel partially responsible.
You are responsible.
Well, it happened, and I felt terrible for it. But, kind of shit happens. He was having a terrible game, and then that just made it worse. And should he retire? Is he done? You think he needs to hang up the boots?
I think he needs to hang him up. I just keep thinking of that football movie. I can't remember what it is now, but big fat dude, he got too many concussions. I think he died out on the field. Like, that's next stop for Tua if he stays out there, death.
What about you, Brad? Being someone that bashed his skull in for other people's amusement, what are your thoughts?
At first, we need to give a shout out to Colgate. We're up 17-0 against Akron right now. So first, shout out to Colgate.
Colgate!
An opportunity to have a scholarship and attend an awesome university. But back to Tua. I think that ultimately there's certain players whose body just can't play in the NFL, whereas in the college leagues or sort of the amateur levels, they're able to. But we have to remember that Tua was behind pretty much a all-pro offensive line at Alabama. He wasn't in a sort of typical situation where you would probably need to scramble a little bit more, and he even had injuries there leading into this. So I just worry for his long-term health. He may be able to come back, probably will come back, but I just think for his long-term health, he might have to make a sort of an Andrew Luck type decision. Is this the best thing for me long-term?
I like this, the Disney Enchanted comment here. She literally called that, and then the Al Michaels and the crew literally said it after her, and she was like, "Oh, he's reckless. He runs reckless." And she's like, "This is what happens." And then literally what Herb Street and Al Michaels said, he runs reckless. So yes, that is too true that he runs a little reckless. So let's just get straight into the good stuff. We're going to hit 5 games for you guys tonight. 5. They all have a over 46.5 point total. So I thought that probably be the best 4 that we can smash through tonight. So the first one you're saying is Saints and Cowboys, right?
Yes, sir.
So 46.5 points. Like I mean, everybody knows who these 2 guys are on the screen here, Olave and CeeDee Lamb, which are weird that these 2 are probably they're the most owned players on the slate in this game. So
let me see.
Scorpio, we will hit your question at closer to the end. So if you hang out with us, you can keep asking questions and we will hit them at the end, I promise. And we'll bring them up and go over them together. So thanks for putting in questions.
I can't speak on this game without being
biased both ways.
Yeah, I mean, everywhere I'm looking, they think like Dallas is going to kill the Saints. So
it's a 6-point favorite.
Point favorites. Obviously, I disagree with that. I don't bet on the Saints because I feel like every time I bet on them, they fucking lose. So I'm not going to bet on them. But if I were one of y'all, I would absolutely bet your house on the Saints. They're not losing to the Cowboys by more than 6. I can tell you that. CeeDee Lamb is high owned. Olave is not, from what I'm saying.
I'm just saying he in this game between the 2 of them, Like
Yeah.
he's the highest owned Saints player, and to me that was insane. I thought myself when I was doing the research before the game, before the show, that I mean 6%, but that's sub 10, so he's still
Kamara's 6% too, and I think Kamara's gonna chew these boys up. So
Yeah, I agree with you, Phil, on the Kamara play. I just think that the offensive line may not be able to hold up long enough for Derek Carr to get the ball down the field, which opens up more opportunities for Kamara to get those dump off passes, which is going to definitely bring up the total.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, you could definitely 3-team tease the Saints, have them at plus 16.5. I think that's the best you could get. 30.5 if you find that. I will absolutely. I'll bet the new whip on it. So, all day long. But I agree. I think Kamar's gonna get a lot of like shovel passes, dump off passes. They might do some trickery shit with Taysom Hill. But
when it
Any
comes
love
to
for Juwan Johnson tomorrow, Phil?
no, I'll tell you why I don't. I think what I was saying is Foster Moreau actually had more targets than Juwan. I think Juwan just is the one who ended up in the end zone. So I don't necessarily. I know the tight end position is good against Dallas, but because I play DraftKings and not FanDuel, it makes me not want to go to either one of them because it looks like Foster Moreau gets, the targets, which is what you want for DraftKings. But if he's not going to be getting the end zone look to get me that extra boost that I need, then I don't want to touch either one of them.
the thing that really scares me here is because we know Taysom Hill is still titled as a tight end, but he plays literally 3 positions. And last week in this Clint Kubiak offense, he took the second and most amount of touches and they're at the running back position behind Alvin Kamara. He was one of those guys I said to kind of look at for waiver wire this week, because like I think that he's going to get the touches. He's possibly going to get steal those red zone carries from Alvin Kamara and maybe some passing routes, maybe even throw the ball himself. So I think for FanDuel, if you're looking for end zone touchdowns, that Taysom Hill could be that guy. And then if you're in a league and you were one of those guys that lost the tight end, maybe a Jake Ferguson this week, I think this is a kind of a good play off of that. Schoonmaker, I like a lot. 1%, like less than 1%. He was one of the waiver wire pickups I said this week because Dallas features the tight end.
They do.
Like it's their job.
I think the Saints are pretty bad against tight end too. I don't know what their actual ranking is, but every time I watch them, I feel like they just
like 21st. They're like 21st against the tight end.
Way bigger than the guy we have covering the tight end, and they just eat on us.
I mean, Schoonmaker's down here at like 2,900, and I think his ceiling is not high enough. I think the ceiling, its projection is not high enough.
Open the value for you in your lineups if you want to take like 2 high-end wide receivers and then pay down at tight end for him. It might be worth it value-wise. What's he need? Fucking 9 points, 10 points, 11 points. It's not bad. You can get 2 or 3 catches and a touchdown.
There's absolutely no love for Dak Prescott, though. That's crazy.
To be honest, there's a lot of love to CD Lamb, and Saints fan or not, man, Lattimore's a GOAT. I think CD has 8 on us before. I'm not quite sure, but I cannot put value on somebody that's 1 going to be high owned and 2 going against top tier coverage. I just can't. I'd probably rather play Brandon Cooks in this game. He's fast as fuck. If he gets behind he was a Saint, so he probably knows, how to get around us and eat on us.
I'm trying to see when the last time CD Lamb, when y'all played him last, 2022.
Yeah, 6'5", dude. He's like literally an inch taller than me.
Okay, so the last time that Dallas played New Orleans, CeeDee Lamb went 7 receptions on 13 targets for 89 yards, no touchdowns. So there you go, right there. That means, I mean, he was his only his second season, but that was his first over 1,000-yard season. But that automatically points me to that Lattimore is going to be on him again.
Yep.
Lattimore is not now what he was in 2021, but he's serviceable.
Is Lattimore a travel corner, or does he just play one side, Phil?
I think it's one side.
He will travel. He will travel on somebody like that. He'll play one side when the team has like 2 top receivers, like a Cooper Kupp and a Puka Nacua. He'll stay on one side. Like when there's only CeeDee Lamb, he's gonna stay on him. He's not gonna let him get covered by anybody else. He's gonna play both sides. But he's high owned, man. Like it's not that I don't think like CeeDee Lamb. I mean, I think he has a chance, right? But smaller chance because Lattimore is good.
He's questionable. He's questionable with a hamstring. I forgot to tell you all that. Marshawn Lattimore. That's why all the love is going to CeeDee Lamb because Marshawn Lattimore is questionable. So there you go. That tells you. I was checking it right now, and he's questionable with a hamstring injury. He did not participate. He did not participate in practice
today.
Yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Yeah. I think this is from Friday or today, actually.
Did he log practice on Thursday?
Dude, I played football with a hammy. That is debilitating. Literally debilitating. I don't think
he might be resting the hamstring and then be able to give it a go on tomorrow.
But it's like, let's see.
That's actually, fuck, man. I wanted a way to get away from all the chalk on CeeDee Lamb.
He says he could play. It says he could play, according to CBS. He could play on Sunday, but he's still
This feels
listed.
like a Brandon Cooks type game, though. It just sets up perfectly, regardless if
no practice on Friday.
They have a top corner against CeeDee Lamb, because you could still do sort of your double coverage, which then opens up sort of one-on-one coverage with Cooks, and all it takes is one play, and he can get away from any defender basically in the league. That's a multi-1,000-yard receiver. He knows how to basically get separation in the league. So
missed all 3 days of the practice.
I'll tell you this too. The Saints suck downfield. We suck downfield. So if Brandon Cooks goes downfield, there's a high chance that we just pass interference him, because that's what we do. We pass interference or they score.
I mean, I don't like your other corner, other side, Paulson Adebo. I feel like every time I watch a game with the Saints, he's getting his ass blowed up. So, yeah, I see. They have Kool-Aid McKinstry, Brad, that they drafted out of Alabama.
Yeah,
he's a rookie. That's the problem. Yeah. But he's a cover corner, so he's going to be the one. If Marshawn Lattimore is not there, I feel like he's going to be the one that covers CeeDee Lamb. But I feel like they're going to try to shift the safety over, roll a safety over to that side, maybe Honey Badger over to that side if he can put him over the top. But I see why all the love's there now, because I didn't see that when I just skimmed through it just now, and then I looked at it again and I'm like, oh shit, he is.
Pass rush is pretty good though, dude. I think it might be a skew maker game. Scooter maker. I
just feel like, I mean, there's, like I said, it's weird. There's no love to Dak Prescott though. I mean, but against you guys, obviously last week, you went against Bryce Young. So these statistics that we're seeing right now are against Bryce Young and the guy that's like your height. Like he's like the same height as you, Phil.
So 6'4". Okay, let's get it right. Schoolmaker's only an inch taller than me. So.
I'm saying Bryce Young, man. I'm talking about Bryce Young. He's like the same height as you. No, I think he's like more like my height. But
yeah, man, I don't know. It's if Lattimore plays, man, CD might chew him up because of hammy. I've played with a hammy, dude. It literally is debilitating. You cannot run nowhere near the speed that you normally run. You probably can't even run in some instances.
I like Rashid Shaheed tomorrow, though. Like that dude, he's just cheap. Like 4,600. He's 2.5%. I mean,
22% target share last week, so which is more than Olive. I mean, I think we score the ball on Dallas. I don't think that they are what they think they are because they just beat like Browns.
yeah.
So,
I mean, that's a bad Browns team. Like it's like I feel like it's
Carolina. But that's what I'm saying. Like, are they a bad team or is Dallas really good? Is Carolina a bad team or are the Saints really good? I don't know. I didn't think we were going to do that to Carolina. I'm going to be real. So are we really good? I don't know.
what was Chuba Hubbard's stats?
I think hard. Skeets all over Dallas. That's just my biased opinion now. So, I know Jay in here is a Dallas fan.
We got any other Dallas fans in here besides Jay? We know for sure Jay's a Dallas fan. We got 36 people watching us right now. So I know you're looking at two of the biggest Dallas haters on the planet right here. So because I'm a Texans fan and Phil's a Saints fan and then Brad's just a football fan besides being a Jags fan. So we don't really have no bias towards Dallas because they haven't personally hurt him like they have us. So
I grew up in Redskin territory, man. So I grew up hating Dallas naturally. It was Redskins or nothing. I mean, Cowboys were also really good. I think like the past 3 years, they just get to the playoffs and they suck and it's predictable. I think y'all made it past your first playoff game last year, and it might have been because you had a bye.
No, they lost.
Yeah, but they had a bye the first week, right? And then they lost their first game.
No, they lost in the wild card round.
Oh, well, there you go. See, you never fucking win, so you are a regular season team. Y'all are enough team to get everybody that's a Dallas fan hyped as shit that you're going to win the Super Bowl, and then you're right there to let them down as soon as playoffs start every year. Just out.
Disney Enchanted, we will answer your question, that one also at the end. But I like Shaheed here, but we need to look at some other people available on your bench or in your starting lineup.
Yeah, I need to know who she's got.
So I think you take Saints 6 points here for sure. I don't think Dallas mops them like that for sure.
I don't either. But I do think if Lattimore's out, could be a good chance we lose by a touchdown.
I still like Taysom Hill tomorrow. Like everybody can say I'm stupid, but I like Taysom Hill. If as a
do you like the over or the under here?
46.5.
That's actually a good ass number, man. I feel like that is spot on of where this game goes to.
Yeah.
Literally, like 26-20 or like
30.
19, some weird shit.
1%. I mean and I'm not touching Foster Moreau. I don't care how many catches shit he got last week because the simple fact of the matter is I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna say this out loud. And Phil's gonna be like, "You're stupid for saying it," but I'm gonna say it. He was in concussion protocol up until like 2 days ago, and after the shit we saw on Thursday, I don't care if he passed it or not. He better not have his ass out on the field unless
he's an old Raider, right?
Old Raider, and he's a cancer survivor. He's a cancer survivor.
Why he's connecting with Carr, bro. They got chemistry.
Yeah.
They got some chemistry. I can't play them, like I said, because we're sharing tight ends here, and there is no room in DraftKings for shared backfield. FanDuel, there's room for that shit. Not in here.
Yeah.
Jay said there's Super Bowl spectators. Same.
Yeah. Okay, so I think Dallas, I like the Brandon Cooks play, Schoonmaker play. I don't like any love towards any of the running backs. Rico Dowdle, Zeke, I don't really like them in this game.
I don't like any running backs against the Saints ever. I mean, I feel like we're pretty good at shutting down runs.
And I'm not real fond here in this game, maybe of either defense, because I just feel like it's possibility to get weird. I mean, Dallas's defense is only 1% owned, but I don't feel like that's like gonna help. So yeah, we can move on to the next one. What do we got?
Detroit and Tampa.
I feel like this game could probably has potential to be
Millie winner.
that and probably the best game that we see tomorrow. After what we saw Detroit and the Rams go through, and then Baker Mayfield redefine himself as, yes, the Browns, you missed out on me. You paid Deshaun Watson and got rid of me.
Yeah, I think this is a good game for absolute DFS focus tomorrow. I mean,
51 points.
Yeah, I think, it the highest? I think it's the highest.
Yes. And the Lions have the highest team total, 29.25.
Yeah.
But that's insane. They're
favored by 8?
7.5?
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know about that, but this game definitely gonna have some scoring in it, man. But okay, I also so Tampa Bay, the way they play defense, it favors underneath receivers like Amon-Ra, and Amon-Ra has a history of fucking them up.
Okay, so here we go. This is going to tell you a lot of stuff. I'm going to give you some injuries right here. Okay, no tackle Luke Gedke for the Bucks. No tackle, no left. I think he's a left tackle or right. I can't remember if he's right. But no Josh Hayes at corner with an ankle. No Kajaya Kancey, their defensive tackle. Zion McCollum, one of their other corners, is questionable with a concussion. Shout out Zion. I know his uncle. He was full practice on Friday, so it possibly could go. And no Antoine Winfield Jr. out with a foot injury. So he's a safety. And then on the other side of the ball, Lions could be without Marcus Davenport, defensive end with a groin injury. He's doubtful. Kirby Joseph, one of their safeties, questionable with a hammy. One of their other safeties out with an ankle. And then Jamison Williams is questionable with an ankle, limited practice on Friday. And Penei Sewell, their tackle, is questionable with an ankle injury. So, like you said, underneath receivers, that guy. The god of everything.
Amon-Ra all day, baby. Gotta play him. Ownership is not too high, but 13%, and it's 5 more around like 10%. You can win $1 million with Amon-Ra tomorrow. Plus this game, man, I wouldn't really touch. I think this is the type of game for Gibbs instead of Monty, but I wouldn't touch either one of them. I would just go Amon-Ra and Laporta, man. Remember I called Laporta last year, and my man for like 9 straight weeks was the GOAT. I'm calling him.
So you're gonna, and this is my 2 cents, but I like a Jared Goff stack here because this Bucks defense gave up quite a few points to Jaden Daniels. I do know that Jaden Daniels has a running ability that Jared Goff does not, but he's still, like you just said, he loves to throw those underneath routes. You could run a stack here with a Jared Goff and maybe a Amon-Ra and Laporta and bring it back with maybe a Chris Godwin, because Chris Godwin ate his ass off last week. 8 targets. 8 for 8.
I would actually flip it a little bit and actually go Baker.
I like that too.
I think he had 4 touchdowns last week, 3 or 4 touchdown passes last week against a solid Washington defense. A sneaky little play tomorrow, maybe if you want to get different. I actually like the first round pick, Jalen McMillan for I believe he is out of Washington. He had only 1 catch, I believe, for 32 yards and a touchdown. He did have 2 targets. But both of those plays, even his other potential reception that they missed on, he was wide open and would have scored on that one as well. I think they want to continue to draw him up because they understand the type of coverages that Chris Godwin and also Mike Evans are going to receive tomorrow from a passing option. And of course, you can't go wrong with the Rashad White. As we always talk about, it just seems like he always stays on the slate there. So if you want to kind of add him in.
To what you said about Baker, 289 yards, 4 touchdowns. And then he even ran the ball a little bit himself. 3 attempts for 21 yards. That's a little extra points here and there. I mean, he had almost 30 fantasy points last week.
I think he might have found something, and I think just what they have overall and kind of being that next year in the scheme, it just seems like they're really
it's
Liam
well. Cohen. It's Liam Cohen's scheme that he ran for the Rams when he was there. So that's that. I think that's why he knows it's kind of based on that Sean McVay kind of thing, and I feel like that he eats in that. I like Baker. I mean, I
think Baker is higher owned. I was focused on the Detroit side for contrarian play, but like I said, I like this whole game. So run both sides of it with different stacks. I think with Baker you need 0.5%. With golf you need to.
0.5% difference. I mean, it's 0.5% difference. And the reason I think that's because you're $500 cost over Jared Goff over Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield's 59 and Jared Goff's 64. I mean, they both their defense both kind of gave up quite a bit of points last week, 2 quarterbacks. So I mean, we saw what that offense, literally what that offense he's going to be going, what the Lions are going to be going against tomorrow is what they just went against last week, right? So literally pretty much just some rips and tears different, but it's a Sean McVay basic type scheme. So I could see this getting in the favor of the Bucks. I don't know if 7.5 is right. I feel like that the Bucks could score better than that, but this is also in Detroit. And what does Jared Goff do in Detroit? He goes off. Jared Goff at home, he's always really good at home.
It's his last name, man. G-off. Go off, boy. He's about to do it big. I mean, you could run Baker with Godwin and McMillan, or Godwin and Evans, or Evans and McMillan. To run them with the running back, I think all of those are viable options, but I do think you need to 2-stack him, and you need to 2-stack Goff.
Somebody that, and if we're reaching deep in the cookie jar in this game, somebody that I feel like that you could reach deep in the cookie jar with, but it's crazy that the way he costs what he does. I feel like he should be less than that, but it's because everybody I think because DraftKings sees the value in him, is Bucky Irving, the other running back there for Tampa. I think he's just super. He's not even 1% owned. He's one of those guys. Like if he falls into your lineup and you're in 150 max, this could be that guy that replaces what we've seen with Rashad White over the last year.
He had 33% carry last week.
So that's why I think he's hot. Why he's cost more than what it is. But the fact of the matter, he's a pass catching back too. So we can see that.
Half the catches as White and about 2/3 of the runs of White. Not bad. And he's only 4,900. And like you said, if you're looking to get different, there it is.
I mean, I'm just saying in this game, like this game itself, I feel like he's one of those guys. If you're just reaching, and I said, if this is 150 max, you're 150 max in this thing. Why not? You need to give people a different exposure to this game. That's a way to get off of a little bit of the other players, but still keep this same train going, I would think. Lions, are we consensus that the Lions takes this game, or do we see a Bucks upset in Detroit?
I think Lions win it. Well, I'm biased there too. I want Tampa to lose.
I'm gonna go Bucks. I'm gonna go Bucks. I like that
Keeping it
offensive
in Florida,
scheme.
huh?
Yeah, keep it Florida based, Florida grown.
I'm gonna go with the Jay. It's he's questionable, so he
Yeah.
practiced. He's questionable, so so what everybody says is Panay Sewell playing the tackle, so he is questionable. Scorpio, we got quite a few. We'll get to you. I promise. We'll get to you at the end. Yeah, let's move to the next one. I think I'm taking the Lions here for sure, especially in Detroit.
Rams in
Wait,
Arizona.
MCDC. You want to go? You want to go Rams to Arizona, or you want to go San Francisco, Minnesota?
Go. Go. Child alert. Did I jump? Maybe I jumped out of order.
Let's do San Francisco, Minnesota here. No CMC, just all this guy all the time. Jordan Mason, like the highest owned player on the damn slate. I think literally the highest owned player. Yeah, 35%.
Yeah.
This is for now. Everybody's going to ask me, should I play Jordan Mason? This is fantasy. I'm going to separate this from DFS right this very second. If you have him in fantasy, you might as well play him because you probably picked him up as a handcuff for CMC. So put him in your lineup. It's really what it is. And if you don't have him, if you didn't pick him up as a handcuff because you had CMC and you just played keep away from somebody, sell him high. That's my 2 cents on Jordan Mason in fantasy.
I mean, a good reason to get off of him in DFS is Vikings defense was pretty solid last week. So
what they went, so the
highest scoring defense on the Millie Maker.
Yes, 34, something like that. 34 and some change.
Good reason to fade Mason. Now if you're playing like double up, cash lineup, that type of shit, you gotta play Mason. You gotta lock him in. Literally lock him in.
Yes, yeah. I'd say he's if you're this is for cash lineups, I would say that probably hits that right there. The law firm lock of the week there, because that's for cash lineups only. There you go.
Only lock him in.
There you go. There you go. Lock him in for cash lineups because we get it. They played. Yes, the Vikings did play the Giants. Yes, they're trash. Stop being NFC East biased.
Though, man, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's only week one. It's the same thing with the Saints. Like, are we good or is Carolina bad? Is the Vikings good or are the Giants bad? I don't know. I think we're about to find out.
So
gotta give it a couple weeks. We can't go off of like what happened in week one and specifically rely on that.
The Niners, Talanoa Hufanga, their safety, he's doubtful, so he didn't play last week. I don't think he's going to play this week.
That'll make a good play.
They get Juwan Jennings. He was full practice, so keep Juwan Jennings in mind because he's one of those guys that he's always. If this was a showdown slate, for sure, it would tell you to be targeting Juwan Jennings. But then obviously no CMC, and then on the Viking side, no Jordan Addison, out with an ankle injury. One of their guards, Ed Ingram, is questionable with a tricep injury. One of their tackles, Brian O'Neill, questionable with the elbow, and Harrison Smith, the current active interceptions leader in the NFL, is questionable with a hip. So
that leads me to feel strongly even more about saying someone who's due is George Kittle. Every year he has those 2 touchdown games. This sets up perfectly if you got safeties that are injured, linebackers that are hurt. I believe his last game he had 5 targets. He only got 40 yards, but I like a healthy target share like that for a tight end. When you know that most people are going to be keying up against that run, what perfect way to do it than run a play action pass right off of it, which opens up a nice solid game plan potentially for George Kittle. And again, he's due. He's been a little quiet. I know it's only been one game, but just even thinking back the last couple games, beyond that, I think they're going to scheme him up this week.
This
He's well owned.
George Kittle. This is a quiz. Did he go over 1,000 yards last season? Yes or no?
Yes.
He did.
No.
You were correct.
Oh, did he?
He did.
Oh,
He had
wow.
over 1,000 yards last season, and it was quiet. That was the thing. It was a quiet 1,000 yards. 6 touchdowns. He averaged 11.3 yards a target. So, and 15.7 yards a reception. There you go. Deep in the middle of the field.
Him a lot for blocking, but dude, he still pulled 1,000 yards and he primarily blocked. What does that tell you? Right? He's only 4% owned in a pretty good matchup as well.
It's a way to get off of the Debo chalk.
Yeah, Debo is a good cash play as well.
I mean, Debo's 22% owned, second highest wide receiver. And
you
then
can't go wrong with the Debo play because you know they're going to start putting him at running back fairly soon and start running those toss plays. Probably.
I mean, he did it last week.
Yeah.
So yeah, we saw it.
That running option plus the pass option is hard to turn away from that. From a season-long perspective, of course, I would like to see a lot of production out of my number one pick, Justin Jefferson, on the screen there. So we definitely need him to go off tomorrow. But what do you guys feel about Sam Darnold against that 49ers defense, though?
He knows it. He knows it. He spent a whole season with them.
Yeah.
I was skeptical of that dude. I probably still am. But, man, he was hitting them downfield. He was accurate. He was beaming. I like Justin Jefferson tomorrow. I know you said you need it, but I actually like that play.
With no Jordan Addison, nobody at tight end. I mean, really, Johnny Munt. I'm not worried about no Johnny Munt. You know, like
Polamalu's twin brother. Maybe sitting out. Justin Jefferson might eat, dude.
He's gonna have to. And then, I mean, that's the only other place you can go to. It may be some Aaron Jones love, because nobody's giving him any love either. I mean, we've seen Aaron Jones show up in games that we didn't think he would show up in, and he's done it before. So
that 49ers defensive line is really good. One of the best ways to stop that is to run screen passes. And Darnold is pretty consistent with doing some drop down passes. So if what you're saying is that he's not as owned,
3%.
If the game
Darnold is
gets away. I mean, or I thought you're saying for Jones.
Jones, my bad. Yes.
But if the game gets away, they're still going to have to pass the ball. And sometimes, again, it's just that 5-yard dump. You look up and he has 7 catches for 65 yards tomorrow. Have a really good game.
I think if you have him in season long, he's probably a good play for sure too. Like, I mean, he's probably a good wide receiver too, maybe deep flex. I've seen him on people's bench that I thought that he needs to be in their lineup, but so Debo says Debo's not Garrett Wilson. But yeah, I and there's somebody that we haven't talked about in this game is Brock Purdy, man. Like you just said, like you got beat up corners, you got beat up safeties. Brock Purdy he's got sneaky like rushing skills too. He gets 4, 5, 6, 7 yards sometimes, and this is against if Harrison Smith ain't there, I feel like he's definitely worth a pickup as a quarterback tomorrow if you're again for sure running maybe 20 or 150 max for sure. Because I'm looking like I'm not really worried about any of their corners and stuff. Stephon Gilmore's old ass. Harrison Smith beat up. Cam Bynum, okay. Byron Murphy, okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot about Ayuk. That's probably a good play tomorrow. That's a good pivot off of
Debo.
Yeah. That's a
7% owned.
Forgot about, dude.
Gotta get that money's worth now.
He got paid, so he's got to play. I think that I
I feel
think
like
that
everybody that gets paid, their performance goes down.
it's of course they do. I mean, that's the thing. That's it's a given. So they've been doing that for years.
And literally everybody.
We want to give a quick shout out. 56 viewers live with us right now. I love it. Keep them coming. We're out here on the YouTube, X, and Twitch right now. So keep up the follows, everybody. We love it. We love to see it. So y'all wanna 49ers win this game? Taking it away?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
4.5 points to
If Minnesota
49ers.
wins this game, Justin Jefferson breaks the slate.
I think that's probably a fair.
By break the slate, I mean if you don't have him in your lineup, there's no shot you win anything.
Yeah, I think that. You think it goes over 46.5 though?
Oh, it depends on what type of defense we see from the Vikings, man. Are they gonna be a good defense, or are they just? I don't know, man. I think it's another one of those. It's a good number, man.
Yeah.
That's a good thought right there, Jay. This is gonna be a survivor pool upset game. It could hurt people's feelings, I think, if the Vikings, like Phil says, if Justin Jefferson does break the slate and then it puts people out. So, yeah, I think 49ers take this running away with it. So let's move on to the next one. That would be the return of this guy, Cooper Kupp. I told everybody to not sleep on him because Puka Nacua was that guy.
I still think he's that guy.
He's hurt.
I still think
he's possibly done.
I thought the same thing last year, man. I was like, nah, Coop got him, and then Puka just eats, and I'm just losing. And I'm like, all right, dude, I'm not sleeping on this dude no more.
He was the waiver wire darling last year. I mean, he's hurt, so he's not gonna play. I think, what is he on? Maybe even IR.
Tough spike, super high owned. He is the highest owned receiver tomorrow. So do with that what you will. Sometimes you have to eat chalk to win contests. Tyreek Hill in week 1 was in the Millie Maker lineup, and he was the highest owned wide receiver. But it's just not a common thing where, high owned players win the Millie. Who else we got?
Yeah, so according to Sean McVay, Puka Nacua could be on the IR longer than 4 games because of this knee problem. So there you go. So Demarcus Robinson and Tyler Johnson. Here you go.
I actually would say go Kyron Williams in this matchup tomorrow against a team that is susceptible to the run, but also I think Kyron Williams coming off of 14 carries for 50 yards and a touchdown. He's great in the pass game as well. I had him in my fantasy league last year, multiple games, I believe 6 or 7 games of 20 plus fantasy points. This just feels like that type of a game, especially when you have the number 1 receiver out in the Puka's Nacua. Sometimes the offense likes to go back to your running game, give them a little bit more carry. So then when the play action comes, you can get Cooper Kupp schemed up a little bit better. I just think in this style of a matchup and sort of to flip it over to the other side, I'm going to go back even with Marvin Harrison Jr. I know that he didn't get the sort of receptions that he wanted to get, or sort of the target share that he wanted to get last week. I know that there were some sort of comments coming from Murray about sort of it's not his job to get him the ball, but I think someone in the front office also said, hey, we drafted him number 1 for a reason. Get him in
3%.
Keyshawn Johnson's old phrase, throw me the damn ball, throw him the damn ball.
3%.
So
3% owned.
have a better opportunity to win. I guess even you could consider him a sleeper pick, but this game seems to set up that way. I think Rams might start to pull away. But then sometimes I believe divisional games can get a little funky. So watch out for this type of a game because sometimes when they know each other, it gets a little less points than what you see.
I mean, I think what he meant by that was Marvin Harrison isn't getting open. Like, it's not my job to get him open and get him the ball. He's got to do that shit on his own, and I'll get him the ball. So if he's struggling to get open, then that's a problem. That's what my fear is with playing him, because he only had 9% target share last week, as opposed to Dortch with 25%, and Trey McBride with almost 30%. That everybody under the sun is on Trey McBride again. So I guess you got to find some leverage in here for DFS purposes.
I like Dortch. You guys know I'm a Dortch man. He was one of my waiver wire pickups in the column this week. Just
actually picked him up based off that.
I saw it. I saw you did. I was like, my man picked up Dortch. I've been calling this man's name for about a year and a half now, and it always seems to be that he's going up more up the pecking order. Everybody, I was not on Michael Wilson last week, and I'm gonna be the first person to say I didn't have no love for Michael Wilson, but I had Marvin Harrison and Greg Dortch in lineups, and with Trey McBride. But Marvin Harrison down here at freaking 3% owned, and Greg Dortch down here at less than 3% owned. Why not? Why not? I mean, and Kyler Murray has a passer rating of 81.2 with 1,969 yards and 8 touchdowns and 6 interceptions in 8 games against the Rams. So he's guaranteed 1 touchdown and maybe an interception.
Who, Dortch?
No, I'm talking about Kyler Murray.
Oh.
So I'm saying that one of these receivers is going to get a touchdown. I'm pretty sure. So
Well, back on the Rams side, dude, I like the Kyron play a lot, but I think so does everybody else. I think he's high owned, third highest on running back tomorrow, but that's probably one of the best plays on the slate. I'm not gonna lie, that Kyron play is there. But on the Rams side, Demarcus Robinson and Tyler Johnson top target share for the Rams. So besides Cup, but
Well,
somebody else that's probably not getting the love on here that I think they should, but maybe I'm wrong. Actually, he's the second highest on tight end. I was totally wrong. Colby Parkinson. I mean, he was another one of my waiver wire guys last week.
He's on my list of people to play tomorrow.
He was 1.5% owned at the beginning of the week in season long fantasy. So, but yeah, I thought I liked him a lot. Colby Parkinson.
I played Stu Atwell last week, and I'll tell you, I'm not playing him again. Mr. Zero.
4 receptions of 5 targets. So Colby Parkinson with 47 yards, had a 20-yard gain. So that's why he's so high, and he's only 3,100.
That might be the double game stack there, Jay. Start with the game stack of the Detroit Tampa Bay game and throw a Kyron and Cup inside of that game stack. Sounds like $1 million on my DraftKings account.
Smells like it, maybe. Smells like it for sure. I don't know. I feel like this game, that's crazy. This game's even. 23.75. So it's an even game.
Yeah. I don't see that, but I think, I got Rams winning this one. I don't see how they're even, but Vegas does.
I got Rams by a field goal. I just think that division matchup makes it a little funky.
Do you think it makes it less scoring? Do you think they're defensively rivaled, not offensively rivaled? That's the question.
That's where.
Okay, so I'm not going to give all the Matthew Stafford stats here, but he has his 93.7 passer rating, and this is 3,000 yards and 22 touchdowns and 10 interceptions in 13 games against the Cards. But 8 of those were while he was with Detroit. But since he's been with the Rams, he had 280 yards and 2 touchdowns, 287 yards and 3 touchdowns, 204.
I need 300. I need 300 plus.
He hasn't had a 300-yard game against the Cardinals since 2019 when he was with Detroit. But he's had 2, 5.
It's straight. That
10.
just helps me to play Kyron. That's all I need. I can get
He
off the
averages 2 touchdowns a game against them as a Ram. Matthew Stafford.
If he gives one to Cup and one to someone else, it's a Kyron game.
Yep.
And I can get off the Cooper Cup chalk. We play Cooper Cup in cash games, but don't play him in. I need 300 plus from the quarterback if I'm taking Cup with me. Because Cup needs a big game. He's probably expensive. Where's he at? He's 7,600. So essentially he needs 30 points. He needs 30 fantasy points on DraftKings to win you $1 million. I don't think he does that with one touchdown.
Kyron has 37 carries for 310 yards and 3 touchdowns in 3 games against the Cardinals.
Yeah, Kyron.
158. The first game last season, 158 on 20 attempts and a TD. And then that's rushing. And then he had 143 on 16 attempts. And then receiving in his first season, he had 30 yards on 3 receptions. And then the last game, he had 6 receptions for 60 yards and 2 touchdowns. So these could be receiving touchdowns.
I like that stack Jay said, but I like that for like $100 single entry. That one that I always play.
Which one?
Like Kyler Murray and run it with Marvin and bring it back with Kyron.
This one here.
Because you don't need to double stack Murray because he's a runner. Like Jay said, he had 54 rushing yards. So if you have a mobile quarterback, you don't need to double stack them with 2 people. You can just play them. They'll get you points from rushing upside, and then they'll get you points from the throwing upside.
I'm not going to – I know this is because this could get away, but we said this last week and it didn't get away. James Conner, look at him. Just look at him long and hard tomorrow. I mean, he's 6,400, but we thought the Rams defense was going to be great. I mean, the Bills defense was going to be great against him too, and they were going to keep him out of the end zone. But I feel like the Cardinals always try to find a way to get him in the end zone. I just feel like it's one of those games. This could be a James Conner.
Very live, yeah.
What'd you say?
It's very live. That's another reason this game could play defensively, right? Could be a Kyron and Connor game. A lot of field goals, a lot of running, a lot of killing of the clock. And it's third quarter and it's 10-3.
71 carries for 216 yards and 6 touchdowns in 5 games against the Rams. James Conner.
You just talked me and I had James Conner to my running back list. I put him in my pool.
Yeah, James Conner is just too good to pass up. And then if you guys have him, he's possibly for FanDuel guy.
Yeah, that's a FanDuel play right there. Lock him in the FanDuel. 6 touchdowns against them is insane.
But the thing is, he also has had in receiving, he's had 1 game with 94 yards receiving on 9 receptions. So he has had has had a good receiving game against them before. That was in 2021, but different offense, but still. He has the potential. Most people think he's just a ground and pound guy. He can catch the ball and get upfield too. So don't sleep on that. But I'm gonna take the Cardinals here.
I don't hate it.
I think this is a get right game for Marvin Harrison. He shows out that he's actually he's going to be good, and I think the Cardinals win. I think the Cardinals win here. I feel like the Rams go to 0-2, and my TikTok that I posted with Elsa saying Puka and Kyron to let it go. I need to get out of here. I just have no. This could be those game that it blows up and Kyron blows up in my face, but I could see it. But I haven't had love for him all season. I'm still just gonna abstain. He might be falling 1 or 2 of my lineups tomorrow, but if you have him in fantasy and season long, you got to play him. You have him. You probably should play him in DFS, but I just hate the guy. Like I just really do. I just don't trust a Rams running back. Nobody's done that 1,000 yards back to back since Todd Gurley in 2017, 2018, and I'm going to die on that hill until it happens. So, what do you guys think? Rams, you both are taking the Rams?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rams.
Okay. All right. Finally, we are to the jungle and the Chiefs Kingdom here. So
it's another one I like a lot, man, for DFS. I think you've seen my
I put your man up there, Brad. OC Vice on the screen. Did you drop him this week, or are you still carrying him?
Just in case some injuries come down the way or something. I have Joe Burrow as well, so a possible stack option for the season long.
So T. Higgins is still doubtful. Tanner Hudson, the tight end, is doubtful. Chris Jenkins, the defensive tackle, is out.
Jamar Chase game, man.
Amaris Mims, the tackle, he's a tackle. He's doubtful. And then nobody is even on the injury report pretty much for the Chiefs.
Jamar Chase game. I think both of these teams were in the Millie Maker quite a bit.
Wasn't Rashee Rice in the Millie Maker?
Mahomes was definitely in the Millie Maker quite a few times. And this is a game script that could get you there, man. It's a 48-point over-under. Burrow is the type of quarterback I think that he plays to his competition. So when he plays somebody good like Mahomes, he plays good. I think this is one of those games where we can see ceilings are made during this game.
I feel like this is one of those types of games where sort of getting different is sort of a little bit more in play here than sort of going to your chalk plays. I just think that some of the players that sort of not on your board might be the guys that actually get in the end zone or so have the most effective games out there. It could be I think I'm jacking up his name, Isavias. It could be also the who's that Worthy for the Chiefs there. I mean, of course, you can always go, Kelsey, because you can't go wrong with Kelsey with the Pat Mahomes lineup combination. But I just think, maybe even a Noah Gray again here. It just feels like a get different slate where, the points will be there. It just may not go to your number ones.
Joe Burrow's 3-1 in the regular season and the playoffs versus the Chiefs. He is.
By the way, Jay, Mahomes was in the Millie winning lineup week 7 last year.
1,252 yards, 9 touchdowns, a passer rating of 107 against the Chiefs.
And Travis Kelce.
What were the scores for the last 3 games for the Chiefs?
Against them?
I bet they were lower scored. Were they in that 40-ish sort of total points range? Because I thought they were lower in the last couple.
So 20. So all right, I'll give you all 4 of them. So the first one they ever played against one another, 31-34 Bengals. It was a Tyler Boyd game. 27-24 Bengals was a Tyreek Hill game. Looked like. 24-27 again Bengals. And then 20-23 Chiefs.
2023. Okay.
And I touched a little bit on what Brad said. This is a game where you got to get different. Besides my Jamar Chase plays, I think all of the receivers on the Chiefs are get different plays. None of them, besides Kelsey, I'm talking about receivers. None of them are high owned at all. The hard part is getting it right. Which one is he going to take with him? That's the hard part. Mm-hmm. So for that, I have really no insight to really give you. It's tough, man. Xavier Worthy, he targeted 11%. That was
twice.
Second highest to Rashee Rice. If you're talking about receivers.
Three targets, Xavier Worthy. He had 1 rush and 1 catch for a touchdown both.
Kelsey was 14%. But I also think this is a game for Kelsey. And as I was telling Jay, when Mahomes was the Millie winner last year, week 7, he had Kelsey with him in the Millie Maker lineup. So
Rashee Rice, 7 receptions on 9 targets for 103 last week.
Right. So if I play anybody that's trying to get different on the Chiefs, it's probably Xavier Worthy. But I think you should play Kelsey and Rashee Rice. They're not high owned. Kelsey might be third highest owned. But I think that's going to change a little bit. I think there's going to be about 5 tight ends that everybody runs tomorrow. That's with Trey McBride, Travis Kelce, Sam Laporta, Colby Parkinson, and probably Mark Andrews or Evan Ingram. I think those are going to be played just everywhere regardless. I think it's going to be split. I don't think you really have to get different there. You just got to hit the right one.
Oh, and I forgot. There was one game that the Bengals played in against the Chiefs and that Joe Burrow didn't play. It was the playoff game. Or it was late last season. It was 25-17 Chiefs. So, but in his career, Travis Kelce is 39 receptions for 414 yards and 3 receiving touchdowns against the Bengals.
How many games is that?
7 career.
Doesn't fit his price.
He's had 2 games over with 95 yards. He's never had one game with a more than 1 touchdown. So
sounds like one of the sleeper wide receivers with him, or Joe Burrow with Jamar Chase, because didn't Chiefs lose like their best corner, something like that as well? So might want to check on that. Pretty sure they lost their best corner.
They lost the cornerback in free agency.
You're talking about L'Jarius Sneed, yes. That's what I think it's who Phil's talking about. But
Jamar Chase.
Trent McDuffie put Zay Flowers kind of to sleep last week. Now, if we can see the same routes maybe from Iosi Vaz or Chase that we saw from Isaiah Likely last week, they can't stop that. Like the Chiefs can't stop that shit in the middle of the field. That was kind of what happened. And then the little outside stuff. So I like that. What you guys are saying about the Bengals receivers here.
I think it's a good game to look at. Plus, it's like I said, it's hard to nail. It's hard to figure out.
I don't like either running back for the Bengals here. I personally have to tote Chase Brown in the mud tomorrow in season long, and I hate it, but it sucks. I thought I drafted him. He's going to be at the Bengals RB1. They pick up Zach Moss, and it's just they can't decide who's going to be the running back 1. And, of course, you guys get rid of Joe Mixon. You let Joe Mixon leave, and he comes to Houston, and he tears up ass, So, yeah, you look stupid, Bengals. But I don't like neither one of those for if I don't have to. So, but I like the Bengals wide receivers. Who's the third wide receiver? Trenton Irwin game.
He'll get you a touchdown randomly, but I think it's usually like showdowns. He'll just come in and get a touchdown. He's like, ooh. He's like, oh, Irwin. Looks like Kittle out there, dude.
You see what it's the Chiefs against the Chiefs. Nah, he's done nothing.
All right, he only has 6.9% target share. Iosavaz had the same target share as Chase last week.
It's because he's essentially running. He's T. Higgins out there, man. Like he's big. He's 6'4", Like,
another thing, he was on 100% of the snap count too. Jamar Chase wasn't. So that's solid as fuck for a $3,800 player, dude. 100% of the snap.
I mean, he's one of the highest.
What's
Yeah.
his own? He's up there. He's not too high. He's above Jamar Chase, bro. I'm telling you, Jamar Chase is.
He's probably, it's clapping. I feel like he's cheeks clapping tomorrow. Jamar Chase is for sure.
Jamar Chase.
I think, like, it's going to be one of those games like, okay, well, kind of what Brad said the Keyshawn Johnson thing is, get him the damn ball. Well, Joe Burrow, okay, with the whole water bottle thing, like, I don't know if you guys seen the water bottle video with him where he like picks the water bottle up and then has to put his hand under it and pick it up. And people are like, he's washed because he can't pick up a water bottle with his throwing hand. I don't know if, I mean, I can pick up I don't have broken wrists and I can pick up a water, but I got my finger in the loop. So I don't got big hands either. So I don't know, man. I don't know, but he has small baby hands like me. So I don't know, man. I don't want to, I'm not shitting on Joe Burrow until he's just totally done. I mean, he's done way more for the Cincinnati Bengals than I thought anybody would ever do, you know. So I don't dislike Joe Burrow tomorrow. I feel like he could fry the Chiefs' ass tomorrow, especially with him only being 2% owned.
I think there was a week, Jay. I don't remember if you remember, but there was a week if you locked Jamar Chase in, the optimizer would have printed you first place, second place, third place, and fourth place in the Million Maker. All you had to do was lock Jamar Chase in.
Mm-hmm.
You would have had first, second, third, and fourth place.
Was that the game against the Jags?
I don't remember who they played, dude, but I remember, I think me and Jay were talking about it if he remembers it, but literally.
That was the Jake Browning game.
If you did no other changes, just press the lock button on Chase, you would have won the Millie, second place, third place, and fourth place in that bid. Yeah, he had like 52 points. He's right, dude. Top off. Yeah, I don't know what game that was, but
it was last season in December. I'll tell you. Hang on. Yeah. Oh, actually, it was week 5 against Arizona. My fault. That's the one that you guys are talking about. 3 touchdowns. He went 15 receptions on 19 targets for 192 yards. And three touchdowns.
Times, bro. You just pick one player and say, "Fuck it, I'm riding and die with him."
But he also, I was thinking about the Jags game where he went 11 receptions on 12 targets for 149 yards and 1 touchdown. But it was that you guys are thinking about that week 5 game last season against Arizona.
What's crazy is I think I locked him that week in all my lineups, but I did other changes. I did other exposures and I chose other quarterbacks and I locked other people out of my lineup, so I didn't get anywhere close to that, but I made good money. But like if you didn't do anything but just lock that, you would have won.
That was that last year. That was the week 5. I remember this now. Week 5. That was the week I start my 9-week straight top point scoring because I ran it off for 9 straight weeks after that. 9 straight weeks of top point scoring after that. Like that game, just like, because I was done. I think I ran off like 4 straight losses and I'm like, I'm screwed. And then I ran 9 straight wins and the highest point scored for 9 straight weeks. So I think Brad can attest.
So far where that has happened and that can happen. So he gets my respect for that.
Brad can attest to that because I think he was maybe the person that broke the seal after that. I think was the first person to outscore me after that. So, but yeah, I like Jamar Chase tomorrow.
It'll be my play tomorrow for sure.
And then I know we didn't hit all the games, and I know we usually don't hit all the games, but here's some guys that I looked at that are under. These guys are under 10% owned. That could make a difference in a lineup tomorrow if you're trying to fill the void. if you can't fit in all these guys that we talked about in these games here, but I like Anthony Richardson tomorrow. I don't care. He's not high owned. He's got rushing potential and passing potential. Wan'Dale Robinson, only one of the only guys with 12 targets last week. I don't care how bad.
Tomorrow, man. Little sleeper play against them shitty Jaguars.
Najee Harris.
Najee Harris had 20 carries for 70 yards. I know he didn't get in the end zone, but there was a couple times where he almost broke free. And this is a Arthur Smith scheme. Going up against a Denver defense that's still trying to put all the pieces together. It's a sneaky little pick tomorrow. Definitely a get different.
I think so. And then Calvin Ridley, to obviously mayonnaise eating, mayonnaise drinking Will Levis is okay. And he had 7 targets. He only had 3 receptions, but 7 targets is a lot. That says a lot. I mean, he's trying to get him the ball. So, and they played from behind. I feel like they possibly end up having a play from behind again against the Jets. So this could be like Breece Hall gets out in front, Aaron Rodgers gets out in front, and then they just happen to feed the damn ball to Calvin Ridley. And then Jackson Smith and Jigba, I think he's on his stock's on the uptick. I know we were on him last year too, but I think his stock is on the uptick. And then obviously he's not going to get Christian Gonzalez. He's not going to get the top corner. He's not even going to get the second corner because Lockett's there. I think that all the stuff goes to JSN, and Geno is a serviceable quarterback and will find his, with no Kenneth Walker either. You got Zach Charbonnet running the ball. So I think a lot of the love's got to go to him. So, I mean, he only had 2 targets last week, but I think that's going to go up too. So, and Wan'Dale Robinson, like I said, he took all the targets away from Malik Neighbors. And he's one of those guys, he can be gimmicky. He can run the ball from the backfield too. So he's like poor man's Deebo Samuel. But yeah, so y'all want to take a look at some questions since we have 74 people watching us right now. 74 people. I love it. I love it, guys.
Bless.
Thank you for all of the all this love and support.
Let's hit the questions. We got some important MMA fights to watch tonight.
So the first one, let's go straight to this one. Should I trade Xavier Worthy for Garrett Wilson? I don't think so. You trading somebody that's not going to get the targets. That's possibility for.
I would hold that until after this week. I would watch this week and see how it goes. I like Garrett Wilson, and it's tough. Like I said, I would wait till after this week on that one.
Yeah, I agree with Phil. And I think we even kind of talked about this last week. It's a little early to kind of start making trades. I mean, if you see one and it's just as good as gold, but let's try to allow sort of these offenses to kind of establish themselves and the sort of identities that they're going to kind of carry throughout the week. It's kind of hard to see that in week 1. They may scrap completely what they were thinking they were going to do and come back to a new game plan, which, involves
11 targets, man. You can't get rid of 11 targets.
It's just I just don't believe it. Again, unless it's just you need something to get through your season long, or you have a stack possibility, then of course those opens up.
I mean, yeah, it's good to know. Like, I think Garrett Wilson's going to be number 1 where he's at.
He's 11 targets last week. I'm not even giving that up, dude. Like, just Aaron Rodgers is going to try to feed him the ball. Mike Williams is not reliable. I don't care if he's there. He's not reliable. Xavier Gibson is Alan Lazard. He brought him over, but he's not getting the targets. 11 targets. You cannot give that up, bar none. Not for Xavier Worthy at this point. It may be dynasty if you're trying to think.
One, man, so it might be worth trading it, but I think it's just too soon. I think you got to watch right now.
And that's someone trying to sell you high. That's what they're trying to do. Disney Enchanted. I have Shaheed and Worthy on my bench. Play them both.
She gave the line now.
What league? I mean, what league? What size league? How many people are in the league? Do you have other people on your team? I guess
here's the answer. My starting team is Mahomes, Gibbs, Kamara, Adams, Lamb, Ingram, Neighbors, Kyrie Santos, and the 49ers defense. I think it's safe to say that I think Neighbors bounces back. You have CD and Devontae. I don't think you have to put Worthy. I don't think Worthy and Shaheed go off again like they did last week. I know we missed out on it last week. But I think Neighbors comes back. I think that
I agree with you. There is a little something here, Oh, she does have Kamara. I was gonna say you have a bring back in that Dallas game with Shaheed, but she's got Kamara, so I do like it the way it's Kamara and Lamb is kind of like a game.
I know you're looking at the Patrick Mahomes and Xavier Worthy stack for sure, but
yeah, Jay, I think so. That team is stacked.
This is that league. She drafted that herself, man.
Yeah,
I didn't help at all.
She killed them.
She was at Disney. She was blogging and she was drafting at the same time. So yes, for everybody that don't know, that's my wife. Shout out to my wife. She's kicking everybody's ass right now. She had the number 2 pick. She did it all herself. She did it herself.
I need an entry to this league. She's cooking.
Yes, cooking ass out here. So yes, thank you, Disney Enchanted. Here we go. Start, bench, cut. Start 1, bench 1, cut 1.
Fucking good question, dude.
Start
Mixon, cut Henry, bench Cook.
Oh.
And I hated saying that. That's fucking.
I would say bench.
It's tough, dude. I looked at it earlier and planned it in my mind. That's the only reason why I had an answer. It's fucking week. We've only seen week 1, so it's so hard to do. But if you go off a week 1 result, Mixon must be started, dude. You got to start him.
I think there's touchdowns that Henry is gonna be getting this year. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit and kind of not go with the hot back and Joe Mixon and go long term, go Derrick Henry to start. I will bench Mixon and cut Cook, but this is a tough decision. I mean, you keep them all, man. If you find a way, you figure it out.
This is one of those games like this is and.
If
this is PPR, I need to know if this is PPR, if this is just hypothetical, if this PPR, if this is standard, what you're gonna do with this half. But I'm gonna go totally different than the both of them. I'm going Homer here. I'm gonna start Mixon. I'm gonna bench Henry, and I'm gonna cut James Cook. Just for the simple fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, they have Josh Allen, who is bound and determined to steal fucking touchdowns from him in the end zone. I don't care that 3 touchdown shit against Miami. That was a fluke. That was Miami just being terrible. But
like I said, it's hypothetical. It's the football version of the fuck one, marry one, kill one.
Yeah, so that's like
man, that was tough.
Yeah, that's a good question, Scorpio. I like that. Make sure you bring that shit back again. Maybe a good one like that if that's something that you really have a problem with.
I was thinking like Jay, dude, cut Henry because Lamar plays every position on the field. If Lamar could, he would fucking run the receiver routes too, dude.
Oh, he got another one on here. Okay, so we got another one. Start, bench, cut. Okay, I'll go first on this one because I'm about to just piss Jay off. I'm starting Jaden Daniels. I'm benching Baker Mayfield, and I'm cutting that bitch Dak Prescott. $60 million? Out of here.
Kind of agree, because I'm starting Mayfield.
I'm starting Mayfield as well. I just think this might be that type of a year where he just catches fire within a great scheme.
28. I'm saying this is the fact of Jaden Daniels led. He led in touches. He led in end zone touches. He led in touchdowns. I know people are saying he runs too much. He's going to get beat up. I don't think so. I think he feels like he's a little bit smarter of a runner, and that's maybe because I have him as my starting quarterback. I just said running back, starting quarterback, but I think Jaden Daniels he's going to settle in eventually. And I put out a post yesterday in honor of Friday the 13th. The killers that are going to go off this week.
Colgate Day.
Jaden Daniels. Oh, they won?
No, every Friday the 13th is Colgate Day.
Oh, okay.
It's our school's day. Sorry. So every time y'all hear that.
Oh, no, I was like, he's a killer, and he's going to go to that other killer, Scary Terry, and they're going to start linking up soon. So I like Jaden Daniels. Let's see.
Bring them fantasy questions, man.
Okay, George. What's up, George? Thanks for coming back, bro. We know we always enjoy seeing you here. Should I trade Brian Robinson for Waddle and for Collins? Oh, Brian Robinson and Waddle for Collins and Reed, like Jaden Reed.
I think I choose Brian Robinson
for the Green Bay Packers.
And
Nico Collins, just to make sure I'm the right Collins.
I'm assuming that's who he's talking about.
Yeah, that's for Nico Collins. I'm making that trade.
The only problem is I don't like Jaden Reed.
Do you have?
I don't like Jaden Reed with Malik Willis as his quarterback.
And Brian Robinson got a good. I would have to go back and look at the numbers, but I think Brian Robinson got a good deal of the carries. And didn't he score a touchdown last week? I just in the leagues like the league that I am in, I think it's a 14-man league. Running backs are extremely scarce. So that's why I'm always sort of worrisome about getting rid of them, because even just serviceable running backs are hard to find. I like the receiving options, but I do like Waddle long term. And so I get Nico Collins, though, came off a great game, I think, with over 100 yards receiving. And of course, Jaden Reed, I believe, had those 2 touchdowns. But I just really like a solid running back that gets a lot of touches going down the stretch.
Yeah, Brian Robinson, 12 attempts for 40 yards and a touchdown, 3 receptions on 4 targets for 49 yards. I'm not getting rid of that for Jaden Reed. I'm not doing it. And all bias aside, I'm a Nico Collins guy, but I think Waddle, he's going to be okay.
It also depends on his lineup, man. Do you have other running backs? If not, you need to trade for one.
And I see why you're asking that now. Without Tua, is Jalen Waddle going to be the same guy without Tua? I don't know.
That's why I would like to trade it, but Reed is useless. But Waddle might be useless too.
Yeah, I if you have a better running back that you can fill the void with, maybe.
Back, right? Like Brad said, is it a 10-man league or 12? If it's 12, the running backs are probably scared. So
I mean, our 14 man that Brad and I are in, there's nobody. Like literally, there's nobody on the waiver wire. But you got people carrying like 4 running backs.
The skimpest waiver wire I've ever seen. I promise you.
That's why I'm like, I need to change one of these running back to a flex. Like, can we just get a flex there? And
we just got a lot of hitters there in that league, though. We got a lot of smart players, a lot of veterans. It's a veteran-heavy league, so they're always watching those waiver wires. They're watching the shows. They know what's up. They know when the info's coming in.
They sneak into the podcast and they don't watch and they listen to what we talk about, and then they don't say anything out loud. So,
shout out to those guys and girls. I love them.
Yeah. So hit us with the questions. I mean, you guys got more questions. 81 people watching, 82 people, 83, 84. Let's go. Let's go. I know you guys I
called that, by the way, too. I'm gonna take credit for that. I called A-Chain as the captain on Thursday night's fucking game. I literally, and this is how hard it is to win DFS. I locked 2 people in a 20 max. I locked 2 captains every week in a 20 max. That's it. It's as far as I go. I don't spread myself thin. I locked A-Chain in his 10 of them bitches, and I still was nowhere near the top 100 in the fucking 20 max entry contest. Wasn't even close. So that's another tip if you're playing DFS. Do not spread yourself thin on captains, on showdowns, or even on main slate. Like tomorrow, if you're doing 20 max, don't sit here and play 5 quarterbacks, right? Because if you nail one, like if you pick Dak and you got him in 3 of those, the chances of you hitting the top DAC lineup is fucking slim to none when there's 300,000 people in there. So like use that because A-Chain was mine in 50% of my lineup, and I wasn't even close to top 100.
And this is a little tip. Another little tip is if you can back your GPP lineups up with cash lineups to try to offset what you're doing, that's a good strategy. So if you're doing 20 max and you have $21 entries, if you can get in a couple maybe or $4-5 double ups to kind of back your money, and these cash lineups that are you just want high ownership guys that what we call the chalk plays. You want those kind of guys in, like we call the lock Jordan Mason. So if you can get that kind of back your money up, that's a good one.
Yeah, so you get to gamble for free essentially. So you play the chalky plays in cash. They're more common. Everybody's playing them. If they hit, you only got to beat 50% of the people to double your money. That's easy.
Yes.
So you just spend the rest of your money gambling like I do in the Millie Maker, with a few lineups and hoping to hit. And if you don't, cash lineup supported that entry. Yeah.
So, and then, I mean, like I said, we play DFS, we play DraftKings, we play FanDuel, we play Prize Picks, we play DK. I play the pick six, because we can do that here in Texas where they can't do that in Florida, but Prize Picks is all weird in their state versus here. And we also play our partner, Fantasy Sports Evo, and tomorrow they're running a deal. If you use our promo code, and I'll put it in the chat, but the lobby tomorrow is $1. $1 will get you it's a guaranteed contest tomorrow. So $1 up to, what is it? Guarantee $500 and top 5 win $100. And that's a $1 entry. It's a $1 entry. So if you guys use our promo code, you can get 100% match up to $100 plus $10 extra playable money. And it's a one entry, one thing, right? So if you get in and you use that promo code, it only takes you $1 to win 200. And it's going to fill regardless. It's going to play regardless. It's a guaranteed contest. It does not have to fill. It's not going to not fill. So you got to use it. You got to come in. So
he gave us another sharp start bench cut.
Start Nico, Stefan, Mike. Okay. You hurting me here. I got to cut one.
Stop. Cut big.
Mike Evans.
Cut Mike Evans.
I'm benching
Mike Evans. Start Mike Evans.
Starting.
Yeah, start for me. I'll probably bench Stephon Diggs and cut Nico Collins because we don't care too much for Houston Texans players over here in Duval.
No, I think I got to follow that, but I'm gonna cut the opposite. I'm gonna cut Stephon Diggs because I kind of feel like last week's a little bit of a fluke because I still love Tank Dell more than I do Stephon Diggs. So I'm gonna start Mike Evans. I'm gonna bench Nico Collins, and I'm gonna cut Stephon Diggs because I haven't seen it happen twice. Now, you asked me the same question after this week, and we throttle the Bears with a decent defense, and it's Stephon Diggs 2 more touchdowns, then I might say something different. But at this moment in time, I'm cutting Stephon Diggs. I'm starting Mike Evans, the guy with 10 straight 1,000 yards receiving seasons. Don't matter who the quarterback is. I'm going there. And yeah, hypothetical. I get it, Scorpio. But they're good ones. They're fun. They're fun to do. So
they are. Yeah, they're pretty good.
Appreciate those.
Yeah.
You have to cut a star, man. It sucks. It makes them hard.
Yeah.
Oh.
Promo.
All right.
Promo code. I'm gonna put it in real quick.
That's it, man. We got some MMA fights tonight.
I feel like Shevchenko. So anybody?
Yeah, I'm not a goat at MMA, but Shevchenko tonight, man, could get her belt back.
I like Sugar Shane.
Well, right? Canelo's fighting tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just more on the MMA side. I like Valentina. I like
I'm old
Sugar
school with
Shane.
the boxing. Give me old school boxing all day. I'm for it. I'm here. I dabble a little bit with UFC, but my go-to is usually boxing.
They got Valentina as an underdog tonight, man. I think that's money. That's money, man. That's like
Book it.
literally getting Kelsey at half price right there, man. That's
You guys
equivalent.
heard it first. Go ahead and book that in too as well if you got
I'm literally like about to pull the trigger on that, man. That's
the time.
like I didn't think she'd ever lose, and then she got her ass whooped by this girl and lost her belt. But it looked like, when you're the champ and ain't no one ever beat you, you ain't got no tape to really watch to learn off of. Ain't nobody beat you. So it's just a lot of people practicing off of you and then finding a way to beat you. She got beat. But now she got tape to watch on how she lost and what she did and how the other girl fight, coming out strong. She wants that belt back, man. And got her at an underdog? Nah. I got to go with Shevchenko tonight.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna. We don't ever talk about the Sunday night game, but I'm gonna talk about it. Houston tomorrow. Get the fuck out of here, Caleb Williams. 5.5 points. You better take that, or 6.5 points. I mean, you better take that. In Houston, 45.5 over under though. That's a good point total for that game. But they have us at 26, so I like that too. But anyways, well, guys, we love it. We appreciate it. 86 people watching us right now.
I'm also there's Sugar Shane is an underdog tonight.
So
that's
88
crazy.
people watching us. Man, this just keeps coming. So we love it. We will be back on Wednesday to get you guys ready for Thursday. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends. Probably next week there could be a giveaway. So if you hang out with us 2 times next week, we will be starting some giveaways starting next week, and then we'll in the middle of the season we're also looking at giving away maybe some signed memorabilia, maybe. So keep that in mind. If you see posts on any of your social media platforms, make sure you like, share, subscribe, give us all the love that you can find, because we love you guys back. So, but yeah, that's the Linktree link there. So you guys can find us, all of our links right there, the social media. So we will see you guys then. Keep an eye out for my waiver wire picks in the column on Tuesday. So
come join us in the Facebook for last minute news, picks, all those types of things.
I'll have them here, and on all of I'll try to put them out on all of them, all the social media I can at the same time. So if you're looking for something, or if you don't, come and give us a real quick message so that we can see it. So we appreciate it, and we will see you guys next week. Peace.
Adios. Like, follow, subscribe.